Hey, it's my first day off in 14 days. So yeah, I'm wearing sweatpants. It's just the nature of what comes with restaurants and holidays. They're just kind of synonymous with chaos. And that's exactly what we're talking about today is chaos. Chaos in your restaurants and how we fix it. If I asked you to describe your average Friday night in your restaurant, what would you say? Is it calm? Is it controlled? Or does it feel like you're walking through a minefield? Now, we've all worked that shift where everything starts out fine, but the dishwasher calls in at 4:30 p.m., the ticket printer in the kitchen breaks at 6 o'clock right when the dinner rush is about to start happening, somebody sends back their steak, the bar runs out of limes because they didn't prep enough, and suddenly you, whether you're the leader, the owner, the manager, whatever your position might be, you aren't really leading anything. You're stuck fixing problems and arguing with line cooks about ticket times. Your heart rate is skyrocketing, you're starting to sweat, and you're thinking to yourself, why is it always this hard? Why can't we get through one dinner service without a disaster? If your whole day is putting out fires, whether it's staff drama, inventory shortages, angry guests, broken equipment, I want you to stop scrolling and listen. Because this video isn't about working harder. You're working hard enough. This video is about why the chaos exists in the first place. I'm going to show you that chaos isn't just bad luck. It's not just the industry. It is a choice that you are making every day by ignoring the root causes. Today, we're going to 86 the chaos. Okay, let's get real for a second about what the chaos is actually costing you. It's not just about bad service. When you're operating in chaos mode, you're burning cash. You're overstaffing just in case. You're throwing away a bunch of food because the prep lists aren't right. And you're losing customers who won't come back after that one bad experience. But the bigger cost, it's you and your sanity. You feel responsible for everything, yet you have control over nothing. You are always busy, but you're never actually caught up. You solve a problem on Tuesday, like telling a server to tuck in their shirt, and Wednesday, you're correcting the exact same problem over and over and over again. It feels like whack-a-mole. You hit one problem, and two more pop up. And too many operators wear this like a badge of honor. They're thinking, oh, I'm in the trenches with my team, I'm a grinder. And don't confuse this with that being a bad thing. It's completely a good thing when it's done in the right way. Showing your team you're there, leading from the front. But if you're there because you have bad systems and it's complete chaos, that's the wrong way to look at this. It's a lie we tell ourselves to feel better about bad management. If you are spending 90% of your time reacting to things that are happening to you rather than leading your team, you're not an operator. You're a victim of your own business. So if it's not bad luck, what is it? Here's the hard truth, and it might sting a little. Restaurants don't feel chaotic because of bad staff. They feel chaotic because the systems in the restaurant were never designed to scale under pressure. When it's a slow lunch, the restaurant with zero systems runs perfectly fine. The chaos hides. But when the pressure hits, when you have a call out, when you get an unexpected rush, or when it's a busy holiday, pressure exposes the truth. If your restaurant collapses under pressure, it's not a people problem. It's a design problem. We need to stop blaming the 19-year-old host for not knowing what to do and start blaming the fact that we never gave them systems to follow in the first place. So let's take a look at 3 specific reasons that your restaurant is drowning. The first cause is what I like to call the symptom trap. You're so obsessed with fixing the symptom that you never actually cure the disease. Let me give you a concrete example. Let's say your line cooks are constantly running out of prepped onions on a busy Friday night. Now, a symptom manager is going to run into the walk-in, grab all the onions, frantically dice everything up, restock everything, and then play the hero, and then you get high fives all around. But what happens next Friday? You run out of onions again. Why? Because you fixed the symptom and not the root of the problem. You are ignoring the system. A systems manager is going to ask different questions. Why is our par level set so low? Is the prep sheet being checked by a manager before service? Is the AM prep cook cutting corners? Here's a golden rule. Every fire you manually put out today is gonna come up again in the future. Now, you always want your staff to be able to come to you as someone who is a problem solver when things go wrong. However, you have to become proactive and not reactive. Cause number 2, you are the training manual. This is probably the most dangerous one for independent owners and operators. You know how to fix the POS. You know where the extra napkins are stored. You know the recipe for the secret sauce. You know how to calm down your regulars because their normal table isn't ready. It's all right there in your brain. But that's the problem. In the tech industry, they have something called the bus factor. And the question goes like this. If you walked outside today and got hit by a bus, would your business be able to survive next week without you? And for a lot of you, that answer is probably no. I knew an operator from my hometown. Let's call him Mark. Mark owned a really great Italian restaurant, but Mark hadn't taken a vacation in 2 years. I'm not sure if he even took a single week off. At one point, him and I met up for coffee, and I asked him why he never takes time off. Why is he always at the restaurant, or maybe even just stuck at the restaurant? And he said, I can't leave. The last time I went on vacation, my phone blew up 40 times in 2 days because no one really knew how to do anything. Think about that for a second. Mark built a prison, willingly walked inside, went in the cell, closed the door, and locked it. He convinced himself that he was essential, that the business absolutely needed him to be able to run. The real truth is a lot darker and probably sounds pretty bad when I say it out loud, but Mark was insecure. He was afraid to document all of his knowledge because he was afraid if everyone knew how to do everything in the restaurant, he wouldn't feel special anymore. So instead, he stayed trapped. He missed his kids' soccer games. He missed anniversaries, all because he refused to write down how to function without him there. If the restaurant only runs smoothly when you are physically standing in the building, hovering over people, that's not leadership, that's fragility. You haven't built yourself a business. You've built yourself a high-stress job that you can never quit, you can never take a vacation from, and most likely you probably can't sell. If you have to be there for it to work, it's broken. The third cause of chaos that I want to talk about is that the idea of normal is completely undefined. Chaos thrives in the gray area. Chaos thrives in ambiguity. I like to use the toast test, not the POS, actual bread. If I walked into your kitchen right now and I asked 3 different line cooks to toast a piece of bread golden brown, do you think all 3 of those pieces of bread would come out looking the same? Probably not. One is going to be probably close to burnt, one will be undercooked, and one will be pretty much perfect. Why? Because golden brown is an opinion. It's subjective. And this can apply to anything. Clean the bathroom to you means scrubbing the grout, wiping the mirrors, emptying out the trash. But to your 17-year-old busser, that might just mean picking up the pieces of paper that are on the floor and spraying air freshener. Now, neither of you are wrong, but you're both operating on different definitions of reality. This leads to something called standards drift. It's like the telephone game. You yourself train server A to set a table, and it will be 100% correct. But then server A will go train server B. Now server A might forget a tiny little detail, and now instead of being at 100% correct, server B has learned that skill at 90%. Then server B goes and trains server C, and they forget something else, and now we're at 80%, and you have this constant degradation. 6 months later, nobody is polishing silverware, nobody knows how to fold the napkins correctly, and you walk in screaming, why did everyone get so lazy? Well, they didn't get lazy. Your standards drifted because it wasn't anchored. If you don't have a crystal clear, objective definition of what a clean station, a perfectly set table, or a perfect burger is, your staff will invent their own definitions. And when you have 20 employees operating on their own personal definitions of good enough, you don't have a brand. You have anarchy. Okay, we know the problems. Now let's talk about the fix. I'm gonna give you 3 system upgrades that you can install in your restaurants next week. The non-negotiables protocol. Strong operators reduce the number of decisions that their teams have to make. Weak systems multiply them. When a shift gets busy, decision fatigue starts to set in. You need to define the non-negotiables. These will be the anchors of your operation. For example, do you have a pre-shift meeting every single day? Not when we have time, not when it's not too busy. I literally mean every single day, every single shift. Here's an example of a non-negotiable for one of my restaurants. At 4:45 p.m. every day, myself and the manager sit down before dinner service. We sit down with whoever is also running the kitchen line that night. We talk about service standards we want to go through. We want to talk about new bar product. We talk about specials. We do a menu quiz. We also go through every single reservation that we have on the books tonight. That way we can check and see if we have any return guests. Then we check uniforms, we break, we finish setting up the dining room, and service starts. It creates a rhythm. It signals to the rest of the staff that the adults are in charge. When you remove the option to skip things, you remove the variance that causes chaos. Fix number 2 is something that is extremely underutilized by most hospitality industries out there. in general, you have to build systems for bad days. I call it the Code Red protocol. I know, it's original. Most people build systems for the perfect Friday night when you have all your staff and all of your equipment works. But if a system only works on good days, it's not really a system, it's a fantasy. You need a backup plan. You need something like a Code Red protocol. What happens when your main dishwasher walks out at 5 p.m.? Do you drown? Do you panic? Do you start cracking the whip and yelling at everyone to work harder? Or do you have a plan? You activate the protocol. In a high standard restaurant, we never lower the quality on the plate. Instead, we control all the variables that the guest doesn't see. Maybe that means you throttle the door. You tell the host that instead of seating every 10 minutes, you seat every 15 minutes. You slow the input to match the capacity that you're able to provide, ensuring every guest seated gets an uncompromised experience. Maybe that means activating a zero friction drop off at your dish pit. Tell your front of house staff that when they drop everything off, it's not just drop and run. They have to scrape the plates. Everything has to be stacked orderly. And to be honest, they should be doing this on every day. Respect your dish pit. Maybe it means a strategic hold where you're instructing your dish pit to wash only specific tools that you need in the moment. Now, 3 of my restaurants are in a hotel, and one of them shuts down from 3 o'clock till 5:30 every day. But I still have 2 restaurants that are open. Should the dish pit be focusing on washing and cleaning all the stuff for the restaurant that isn't open, when the other 2 are in priority and needing the stuff to go through the dish pit so they can continue their service? That's what I mean by strategic hold. From that 3 to 5:30 period, that dish pit is solely focused on washing the tools needed to keep those other 2 restaurants moving. You make these decisions now while you're calm, so you don't have to panic make them when you're in the weeds. Build the plan for the bad day before the bad day happens. Be proactive, not reactive. That will be a theme in probably every video that I do. Fix number 3 is visual standards. Finally, we need to kill the ambiguity. Stop writing long paragraphs of text in a binder that no one's ever going to read. Replace your silly heroics with clarity by using visual demonstrations and tools. I want you to do this exact exercise tomorrow. It's in 5 steps. Step number 1, identify the pain point. Find the one station that's always messy. Let's say it's the salad station or garde manger. Step number 2, reset it yourself. Go in early. Set that station up perfectly. Every tong in place, every backup labeled. Make it look like a magazine cover. Step number 3, capture it. Take out your phone. Stand on a chair if you have to. Take a high-res photo of the perfect setup. Step number 4, label it. Print that photo out. Get a red Sharpie. Mark it up. Tongs go here. Tomatoes go here. Make sure it is perfectly clear where everything needs to go. Step number 5, install it. Laminate it. Post it on the walls. Put it at eye level so when people look around, it's very easy for them to see. Now, part of your training is done. The new hire doesn't have to ask you, where do the tomatoes go? They look at the picture, they match the picture, hopefully, and when you walk by and see a mess, you don't have to argue. You just point at the picture and ask, hey, does your station look like the photo? The answer is either a yes or a no. There's no room for debate in that. No gray area. You have just delegated your quality control to a piece of paper. Get the knowledge out of your brain and onto the walls. Here's the bottom line. Great restaurant leaders, the ones who look calm, the ones who take vacations, whose restaurants actually make money, they aren't smarter than you. They aren't better people. They just realized one thing. You can't manage chaos, but you can eliminate it. They stopped trying to be the hero that saves the crashing plane and decided that they were going to be the engineer that designs a plane that doesn't crash. They moved from not just managing people, but to managing systems as well. And that is the shift that you need to make if you want to survive in this industry. If you are sitting there watching this video with a mix of feelings between relief and stress because you now have answers of what to do, but you're aware of how much work you have to do, don't worry. That's normal. This is exactly what I help operators fix on this channel. We're going to break down all of these systems one by one in future videos. Inventory, scheduling, leadership, all of it. So hit subscribe because we're going to 86 the chaos together. I'm Nick, this is 86 This, and I'll see you at the pass.